Hey everybody. So before we get to this Pillow Talk episode, I just want to let you guys know that I will be starting to wear pajama sets for every Pillow Talk episode because since this is Pillow Talk, why not wear pajamas, right? I'm going to also link in the description below where I purchased these affordable and comfortable and sometimes sporty pajamas as well. I am wearing a cute tummy heel figure set for this Pillow Talk episode. Unfortunately, because the way that we are set up on this platform, you are unable to see my outfit. So I'm going to make sure that I not only post a description of the purchase, but also a cute little picture as well. Now, back to the content. Everybody, welcome to Pillow Talk, episode 3. This is going to be a good one right here, y'all. So listen, I did a disclaimer at the beginning of this video about my pajamas. So just be on the lookout for not only a picture, but a description of where I purchased the pajamas that I have on. You can't see them. It's a Tommy Hilfiger said. They're really cute, really affordable, and really comfortable. So like I say on every video, affordable. Make sure I say that. Every video, Pillow Talk is some of the most rawest, honest, most intimate, personal conversation that you can have. So I have selected some very special individuals that I just wanted to have a conversation with. So I am going to bring this person out before they speak. Let me introduce him the right way. So he is a inspiring person overall. He's a father, he's a brother, son. He is a lead process lead in one of the biggest manufacturing companies in South Carolina. He's not only an actor, but he is a phenomenal rapper as well. Y'all give it up for Chris, aka Plat. That's so wrong. All right, Chris, introduce yourself to the people.
Well, my name Chris Plat. Like you said, my main job is working at BMW. I'm a lead out there. I, try to run the show, try to make sure these people buying these Beamers out here get these good cars, safe, and they, you know what I'm saying. But on the side, I'm inspiring this and still pushing my music and making decent money out of my music still, and tapping into all kind of stuff that come to my way and opportunities. So we just working overall.
Yeah. So when I open my videos, or my episodes rather, I like to tell everybody how I met the person before we get into the whole segment. And I know people gonna be looking like, hell, we already know how y'all met, y'all siblings. But what people don't understand is we are siblings, literally 100%. We're not half siblings. We got the same mother and we got the same father, but we did not grow up in the household together. So a lot of these questions are still questions that I'm going to ask him because it may be a lot of things that I don't know, my sister don't know, people out there do not know. And I know, as I said, that a lot of people probably were shocked by that because of how close we are, but we did not grow up. I'm talking childhood, teenage years together. So it's a lot of things that I don't know about his journey that I want to know.
Separate upbringings, two separate
upbringings. Exactly. So let's just kick it off because we're gonna get to where you are now. But of course, to get there, we need to know where you came from because you always got to know where you came from to know where you're going, right? So let everybody know where you grew up, where you were raised, because it's very different from where I was raised. So where are you from?
I would like to say that I'm a country boy. I'm from the rural parts. Born in Greenwood Hospital, but you know the outskirts. You can call it Edgefield County, County, but we grew up in the country. I stayed with my pops most of my upbringing, but I would like to say I'm from a lot of different places, but I reside from the country that is the Edgefield County, McCormick County area.
Yeah. So, and then you said that you was raised with your father, which is my father as well. So that's the next question. You were not raised with both mom and dad. What age did it? Because I have no recollection of both parents in the home, but you have a different story. Yeah. So what age do you feel like you first remember at least being in the home with both?
I remember us being together, all of us in the same household. Up until I was maybe 4 or 5. It was a bit traumatic, as you probably heard when our parents So our parents split up. It was kind of traumatic as for a kid, you know, growing up like that. But it was different times, and I can remember my mama wanting some independence. My mama trying to get away from a lot of toxic behavior and and abuse, you know, far as whether it was physical or verbal. But I really don't know about that, but I do know the split. And you know, just
And how old were you? Like when you
I
remember?
I wasn't in kindergarten because I went to kindergarten in McCormick. I went to first grade in McCormick. I remember I had teachers, so I kind of went back and stayed with our mother for a little while. But in the beginning, before it happened, I went to um the school in Edgefield. So I went to elementary W. Parker in Edgefield. So I remember our older sister walking me to class. She used to have to walk me to class. I'd be real upset because she like, all right, well, I got to drop you off. And so I remember us going to Edgefield school together. I remember the split happened.
What do you remember about that day?
I remember, man, that day was real. It was
Like,
real.
did you wait when you wake up? When you woke up, did it feel normal? Like, did it feel like a regular day, or it already felt?
We woke up to screaming and hollering, and because I think we was about to go to the movies or something. They were supposed to take me to go see Ninja Turtles, and I ain't never see it in the movie theater. They got crazy. I think we went to church or something. I can't remember, but we went somewhere, and my dad, he was a different back then, but you know he didn't got way better now. He didn't got spiritual into his. So, you know, but back then he was a little more wilder, so he was tripping. And I remember our cousins and aunts and our Uncle Pooh came to get mom, and our other uncles on my dad's side came there, and it was like a drawdown, and it was talking all crazy, and it was just a lot of confusion. It was guns and stuff. Like it was. I think my dad had really played the role well because I knew he knew it was coming, but I think when his family came out there, he was a little upset and embarrassed. So he like tried to play the victim. So everybody jumped to his defense, which we gonna do, you know what I'm saying? So just a it was a little dude, man. You know what I'm saying? I was a little dude. So but I
Yeah.
remember packed all the stuff up in the car. She told me to get in the car. I grabbed sitting on the porch. I jumped out the car and went on the porch with our grandmama that who's no longer here. But I jumped on the porch and said, I'm gonna stay with my daddy. And I stayed with, you know, probably for a week or two, and then eventually mama came and got me because daddy was working and running the street, so he came back
And
and
then when do you remember going back to Edgefield? Because at this point, our
I
mom was no longer in Edgefield. So when do you remember going back?
yeah, I remember I don't really remember going back. I remember being picked up on a weekend and I only had clothes for that weekend. So I didn't really go back to stay. I went back to visit. And I thought it was weird because nobody else went but me. But when I went, because I don't think they had the court stuff figured out with their divorce and all that. So it got messy. And I think my daddy just, you know, took it to like, hey, I'm gonna take my boy back, and kind of just took me. And, you know, it was a
What was
little,
your thoughts around that time? Because we do got an older sibling. So the older sibling and the younger sibling are with the mom, and then you with the dad. There's no conversation, not even to us, about where you are. It's almost like if we ask, we gonna get in trouble for even asking where you at. So whether you, because we think we already know we need to shut up. Clearly,
yeah,
we getting in trouble, so we not even talking about it.
but I'm vocal and I'm very, I'm high spirited. So every night, and like our stepbrothers and sisters can attest to this. They used to like be sick of me. They used to be laying there like, "Well, this nigga shut up." I used to like, man, I done been down here long enough. Take me back to my mama house, like, and you know, our daddy rough. So
but see, that's interesting though, because you said when the split happened, you said I'm staying with my daddy, but after the smoke cleared and you were there, you want to go back.
Yeah, of course, but that's like any other kid, because when you used to having your daddy, when you with your mama, you want to be with your daddy. When you're with your daddy,
yeah, okay, yeah.
So it's kind of like I just didn't understand who I wanted to be with. No matter if I was with my mama, I would have hollered for my daddy. If I was with my dad, it'd been vice versa. So I don't really think it had nothing to do with that. I think tearing that bond, I was used to being in the house with both of them. And when you tore that apart and then you bringing in, bringing in other people, like, cause they dating, they got other friends and stuff. So you bring other people in the picture. So I knew it wasn't back. And after that, it's getting real now. But for the first couple of years, it was nasty for me. But I knowing now what I know, being married, having daughters, having kids, having a wife, like I needed that nurturing, motherly hug and kiss and comfort to tell me, well, it's all right to cry, Chris, or it's all right to fall down and get a boo-boo, or when I bump my head, she'll hug. I didn't have.
But I want you to also to explain for people, everybody that want to be watching this does not understand to the depths of when you say country, because a lot of people think that country is like still rural, but explain what you mean when you say we lived in the country.
When I say country, I mean it took us 35 minutes on a bus to get to school. It took us at least 20 minutes each way, whether you're going to McCormick or Edgefield or Greenwood. It's at least 20 to 25 minutes to get to any store. We had one little country store around us. Rest in peace to Walt Whalen, but somebody killed him in a robbery. But we had one little country store. But any other stores, any other things it was more so still in that old-fashioned bargain and trade. We went to people's houses to get our haircuts. We went to people's houses, or people drove through in trucks and sold fruit and meat, and people made hash. And people, when you went to the store, a grocery store, you went for that week. You weren't going back because you stayed 30 minutes from the grocery store. Like, so It was hell, and it was in the country. Like, growing up in my later years, it was hell to catch a ride because niggas was like, man, nigga, I ain't taking you way back down there in the woods, man. So,
and then the road is named after us. So explain what it was like, because I know they probably like, why your mama brother had to come get, why did her, why do you feel like my mom felt in that way, like she had to call, so why couldn't she just like leave? Why did she have to call somebody? What was so detrimental about where she was?
Because you was on Moulton Road. If anybody know that grew up around us, that road is our road. Like it's Moulton Moore Road, but you have nothing but our uncles. We have like 6 of our uncles plus our daddy. But the actual house that all the siblings grew up in is on that road. And we got, what is it, 15, 14 aunts and uncles.
Mm-hmm.
It's something like that. We got numerous cousins, so it's a lot of us. So when you come on, right or wrong, they're standing with the Moulton side. Like, and it's on a regular Wednesday or on a Tuesday, one of my uncles down there, they'll get to fight. So it was a lot of craziness going on.
But was that your normal though? Just like here screaming and
my like in those years, like my dad worked a lot of hours, a lot of night shift, so I was the little kid, and I stayed with all my aunts and uncles when he had to work night shift. So I'm running from house to house. So I kind of see everybody's shortcomings. I kind of see the alcoholism. I kind of see the abuse, the physical abuse when it comes to women. I see the infidelity when it comes to marriages. I'm in everybody's household as a kid. Everything, and I've heard everything at a young age. Like I was in everybody's houses. So everything that they were going through, whether it was financial, was abuse, was the I seen it all. Like I seen
Mhm.
everything. It was a
And
lot.
what was your mind saying in it? In as a child, I know you can't articulate certain things as a kid, but when you're in it, you can feel it. So what are you thinking around that time? I know you said it's your normal, but are you thinking because you got a whole another environment that you go to on the weekends, which is your mom's house, which
And
operates very different.
yes, it was safer. It was more kids around. Well, where my mama was and where y'all stayed at in the trailer park, it was more kids, it was more playful environment. But so when I went back to the country, it was more so, it was a work ethic. It was kind of like I can wake up in the morning, my dad is not gonna give me nothing.
That's why I used to leave. I'm like, damn, every time we come down here, we gotta do something.
Yeah,
like, but I do feel like that's helpful too, you know.
It's very helpful. Like that's one thing that I stress to my kids. I'm like, man, I had to wake up in the morning and I had to cut our grass. I had to do all this stuff in the house for free. We had to actually go under the ground and mess with plumbing and sewers and the well and fix stuff as kids. And Flank and Smoother and Stacy, I step brothers and sisters in the household, so they can attest to we had to do things. Then after we get done with those free things, then you have to go around and make some money because ain't nobody gonna give you no money. Like, cause my daddy had a lot of mouths to feed, and he had a lot on his shoulder. So at the end of the day, he's not gonna give you $10, $20 if you say you want to go to the skate ring or you need money for a field trip or even back to school clothes. Like if it weren't for Brenda, God rest her soul, our stepmom, I wouldn't even have school clothes. Like
And before we had a stepmother though, because it was a period where it was no woman in the house, right?
Yeah, and I ran around and did grass and stuff, and I kind of leaned on our mama to buy my stuff. Like our daddy really didn't believe in, like, man, I'm not spending no kind of money. I'm talking
But
about as a
what was
kid.
that like for you? As people think that boys don't need their mother, I mean, it is important for you to have a father, but they forget, that the father part, that is like the strength and
It's just important for me growing up now. The only reason why it's important for me because I mean I ain't gonna say it's important, but the only reason I know I missed out on something is when I sit down and have to have these conversations with my wife, and she like, well, why you just won't talk to me, or why you just won't be transparent with me? Why? Because I'm shut in because I wasn't allowed to show emotions.
mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I wasn't allowed to. I didn't get the necessary hugs that I wanted or needed. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and get the I got it late when I used to come, with y'all.
Mm-hmm.
What's the mama showed me a favor, but I think her spirit in me is what helped me. Even when I was running, like I'm
Mm-hmm.
I can gravitate to people. People like me. People
Mm-hmm.
like being around me. So her spirit in me helped me more so than her being in my presence.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Not having a woman in a house and your dad always
Yeah,
working.
because even when Brenda was there, like their relationship was rocky and on and off. And
Mm-hmm.
Brenda left, so it wasn't
Mm-hmm.
like she was always there. They was
Mm-hmm.
moving and it was up and down. So
But
it
do you think it helped you to have those aunts around though? Because you still had
oh man, that helped me. Like
yeah.
the only aunt I had around the most of the time, like, cause of course one of our aunts left. Well, all of our aunts left at a
And how did
certain.
that affect you? Did you think like, okay, when you start seeing people leave, like the
I got
women
yeah, I seen my mama leave. I seen my aunt Louise leave. I seen my uncle Clay's wife, Aunt Ludella leave. No, that was Uncle Duck's wife. I seen Aunt Lorraine leave. I seen Aunt Meat leave. and she was important in the household to me because she was like another mother. But when I'm seeing all these women leave, and I done seen my mama left, at first I thought it was okay because I'm like, damn, now I'm in these households more, like they need me more. So I'm thinking it's okay. But I really started to miss them. I started to miss the nurturing that I was getting when I was there, the discipline. Meat used to, I was more their house more, so I was missing her being there because she was the one that made sure that I had the manners, that I had the that I was fed. I got that from Aunt Mary too. That was the last one on the dirt road, but she was the one that made me go. She was the one that made me go to Bible study. She was the one that catch me peeing outside. She's like, Chris, stop. Just shame me. She was the one who stayed on me more because she stayed. She's still there to this day. And I just left Thanksgiving, give me a plate. So she know that I was the last kid, and I told our cousin Big Mo that I was like, man, I'm the last kid that stayed in this. Come in here and get how many plates.
And I know with men, because they work and they got so much in their head that they don't talk about, that sometimes when they do come home, they tired, and sometimes the kids do get overlooked. So it's the mother figure that say, well, how you doing, baby? I remember I was driving with my oldest nephew, and he would always, with our oldest nephew, he would always want me to pick him up from school, or like and I just asked him, like, why do you? And he said, because you talk to me when we be in the car. And it's something as simple as, somebody seeing a child and saying, what's up, boy? Just because people, kids get walked by at, family functions, at home, when you tired, you walk by your kids, you don't open the door to the room.
You said a mouthful. You said a mouthful, because that's what I got when I came to my mother's family. Like Willa Mae. That's why because they asked me questions about what I like. They asked me about myself to this day. Like I just with Willa Mae the other day, she treat me like a son. They ask me questions. So like when you snatched away from all them women left, you snatched away from all that nurturing love, and then it's just like, all right, come up here, cut my grass. I give you $20. You sit up here. I ride my Uncle Abe around until he get fucked up and too drunk to drive. Then I jump in his truck as a 10, 11-year-old and try to drive him home. It's like, it's exciting and it's adventurous, but when you start growing up and being a man, you're like, damn, like, it's so much I missed out. And it's like,
that we normalize that ain't, when you get older and you start having your own kids, you like, I would never, like, that ain't normal. It's a lot of stuff that we grew up in.
I'm be honest, I ain't gonna lie. That taught me in certain ways how to respect a woman, though. Like they didn't do. That's why I have so much patience with y'all, because y'all are the divine creatures. Y'all are the mothers of the earth. So I try to have patience and understanding women, because sometimes y'all make irrational decisions too, but your intuition and the things, like when your woman tell you, all right, this dude ain't for you, watch out, he jealous of you, or you might not need to. In some occasions now, you got to listen to the woman, because these women are fine with the universe. They understand.
It can be as simple as you want to go out and you ask your old lady, and she's like, I don't think you need to go out. And it might not be, because it might be trying to save your life,
I give you one example, and then we can go on to the next one. I had two close friends to me, God rest their soul, but real close. They had a club down there. They like family to me. They are family. When as in McCormick, the Saps owned the club down there. When all that crazy mess happened, we was going down there. And Drill, which is my wife, she kept telling me, like, I just don't feel like we need to go down there this year. Like, we just need to do a little all of Thanksgiving, but just some don't feel right. And I was like, yeah, you're right. It really don't feel right, but hey, whatever, we ain't got to go down there, because that was our spot. And then, that event happened. And I know if I was there, I would have been in it, I know that doesn't change what happened, don't overshadow the life you took. But just like sometimes it ain't necessary you to ignore somebody when they're telling you something. It's like, hey man, you really need to listen when somebody loves you.
Yeah, definitely. So we got a small glimpse into your childhood, but now you're getting older. At this point, you are confined to the country. This is what it is. This your stomping ground at this point. You in high school. What was that high school experience like for you? Because I mean, elementary school, you probably still struggling. You trying to adapt and adjust because you was back and forth. Middle school, of course, you finding yourself. Everybody knows middle school. That's that identity. That's who you trying to find out who you are. But then high school, you're supposed to have been able to develop the identity that you want to be. Some people still struggle, but how was your high school experience for you?
Well, my middle school and high school years, I didn't have people to run to, So, I grew up in a household with stepbrothers and stepsisters. They didn't really stay in school. So they was out of school before I even got out of middle school. So I didn't really have no backup. You know how a person feel like I feel like I'm a little antsy because I got an older brother, or I got an older sister, or I got some older cousins. I ain't really had it. All we had was our side that we represented. You had your homeboys, and I was running with a whole group. By the time I got to high school, man, I was getting picked up by high school. At high school, I was getting picked up by grown men in Cadillacs with rims on to those. I was getting, we was getting outside static with, just running around having fun, but we was having static outside of school. But it was different for me in high school because it's like, man, I run with a whole different group of guys that ain't even from this town. So
right, yeah.
My people wouldn't even, they didn't go to school with me. But if something happened, but it was fun though, because and one thing that I do gotta say about, I'm so glad that I didn't go attend high school with my partners and stuff and go to McCormick School or go to Greenwood School, because I got a great education. It was different. In GT drama, I was like doing, I was playing sports. It was different. For us, the academic is like I was learning, I was thriving, and I was doing great in school. So,
but at this point, we had to move because elementary we were local, so you can come right up the road 20 minutes. But at this point in your high school life, we had moved at least maybe an hour and a half away. So, what was your thoughts about that? Like not having your mom as close.
Yeah, that was rough because and then when I do come, I'm older, and as you know, our mama got set rules, so it's like, and my life went like that in the country, so I got to still get up and go to church. I got to still do it, and I wasn't used to that. When I used to come and visit y'all, it's like, man,
tell them we went to church. We had to be up early. We had to go to Sunday school. Chris be like, we said after school, after church. It's church after church. What?
Hey, she used to get pissed off at me because and then I ain't going no church, and she used to be like, Tyrone, you better make sure he get to the church.
Yeah, you didn't have to come to the early. You get dropped off
later service, but I still had to be there. But I still thought that was weird. I'm like, man, why I gotta come to church? I don't even stay here like that. But she made sure at the older ages, and that stuff still be with me to this day. The spirituality, the the great preachers that I done seen over all the
Yeah, well,
church
we went to small churches, not mega churches. We went to very small church.
with some real good speakers though. With some real good, was really
How did
really
it make you feel that when we would go, because we moved like several times in Clinton, but she would always have like a little spot. Because he used to make me and her used to go back and forth because I was the most outspoken. And I'm like, he don't even come here. Why do you have a room? Because I remember when we moved in a little trailer, you had your own room. And that's why I slept on the floor with a coat on, because I was trying to protest. And I like I forgot all I was, just crazy. I was trying to protest my right to have my own room. And that just made me so mad. But she always would find a room and say, "This is Chris' room."
That's a motherly love, because she know that I didn't have a motherly love. But when I got with y'all, or when I used to stay with y'all on the weekend, it was like Mama was she was trying to please her husband as well. Like, so she really just catered to me and what Chris needs and his needs, which I understand that now, because I got a wife, and but she always made me feel at home and welcome, and she gave me that discipline that you need from a mama. Because I ran wild. I did what I wanted to do in the country. At that age, about 13, 14, 15, even though I was running around in Clinton doing what I ran around.
I was. Well, I was.
And
it's funny because Mama didn't want to work like a structured 9 to 5. So although Daddy worked a structured 9 to 5, he worked a lot. She worked a lot because she was working for herself, and so she worked all the time too. So we both, although we're in 2 separate households, we got parents who work all the time, and her husband worked all the time because he on child support. So his check is not his check. His check is getting cut. So he got to work extra hours. So it leaves a child with idle time, and they always say, when idle time is the devil's playground.
It is, but she had the one thing I can say about Mom, she had her household set up. At least I can say the Martha Dendy days and when y'all stayed in that White House.
Mm-hmm.
Those days, well, I guess Shaka was in high school, maybe. It was she had her house set up in a somewhat of a structured and that's what I loved about coming down there. Like, she cooked but I didn't have it in the country. Like, when I ate, Daddy made sure he had groceries in the house and he cooked, but man, that man might be working 12-hour night shift. He might not even see me, because I might be at Lock House all weekend. Like, I might, but it got to a point where I just stopped coming down there because, I would run around doing my own thing.
And I tell people that don't know, like people that's close to me, like it just as much as you was confused, I was confused, because I remember like getting older and sitting at the table, because you got to think about it. Like, I'm growing up with women who are preparing my food. Like Willa Mae, she got breakfast, lunch, and even if I want a sandwich, she's making it for me. She's cutting it up. She putting my chips. She pouring my cooler. And so when I'm sitting at the table and I see y'all, like, it was so. And it's another thing, like in the country, it was like all for yourself. It's like, you remember, it's a cartoon, All Dogs Go to Heaven, and he threw the pizza and they was like fighting over the pizza and stuff. That's how I felt in the country, because you getting your own. I mean, I was little and y'all grabbing for both, and I'm like, I want that cereal. And they're like, you better get it. And I'm like, what? Like, who gonna make it? They like, you gonna make it. And so it was confusing for me, because then I go back to and I try to grab a cereal. She like, no, you don't. And I'm like, well, when I'm down here, I get my own. I know you don't make your own down here. And I'm like, and so I don't know what to do, because when I'm back here,
it was a whole different element, because and how we was raised up in the other household, you don't even go in there and just all times I used to get fussed at Mama's house. I run in there and just grab something out of the refrigerator, and she like, it's 9 o'clock, it's 9:30. You don't go
No,
in there.
and you also would sneak on the darn cabinets
But
and
that's
like
my old day.
Spider-Man type thing.
Mission Impossible. Yeah.
Just to get some. I'm like, really?
Yeah.
But that's how and that is confusing because there's no conversation about when you go to your daddy house, you can do that. But when you come, you're so confused because nobody is talking. You're just living
Yeah.
and nobody is having a conversation.
You getting dropped off. Like how you act, how you are, you getting dropped off. Half of the time, I was getting dropped off. You don't even know this. Mama was raising hell. She was like, you getting dropped off here with no clothes, no socks. You ain't got no drawers. You just getting dropped off over here. Like what is going on? Like,
Yeah.
I was just getting dropped off. Like, because that's how I was running around. It was like, all right, this your weekend at my house. Somebody pick me up. Somebody meet my mom at the store. I get dropped off at my mama's house and it'll go from there. She'll have to get me some, white t-shirts, some boxes and stuff. And it's just you down here for the weekend, but I'm getting
And
dropped
people
off.
think the Kevin Hart joke was funny when he said that his mama wouldn't let his daddy like step on the steps, but I think that people don't understand to the extent of what. Because I was gonna ask you, how did that feel? Like our mom had meeting spots for what, like he
I thought,
couldn't even know where she lived. So I think most of the time we were little, they didn't even see each other. Like it was like, you know how now we got these like coexist, what they call it, the blended families. Yeah.
but at them times, and I thought it was more so me how I felt. I was protecting my mama because my daddy used to try to get me. Well, where your mama stay at? Where your mama? So it almost seemed like she was scared of him. To me, when as a kid, it seemed like she didn't want him to know. She knew where he stayed at, but she
Right.
to know where she went in thoughts that he might do something if he get too mad. So he always used to ask me like, well, where that? Just show me, And I'm like, nah, I ain't showing you where my mama stayed. Like I still was on the fence when it came to my mama. I still am to this day. Like he can't say, I love my daddy to death, but he can't tell me nothing about my mama. You know what I'm saying? Like
I remember she saw him in the grocery store when I was young, and she left everything in the buggy and ran. And I would just be like, "What is your problem?" And I, to this day, I told her, I was like, this was before mental health, but she was dealing with some severe PTSD. I mean, she would be
yeah.
like very, very, very scared, like just nervous, and it was to the point where no, he can't know where I stay. He could pick y'all up over here. He could drop y'all off over here. And
And
I don't
her,
even want to say.
her not even knowing his intentions, but her just knowing from when she stayed with him. So she just don't know because they wasn't together that long.
Right.
But they maybe was together 5 years, maybe 5 to 7 years, and
Yeah.
that ain't really knowing nobody, they're a kid, so she don't know his intentions, and that she just know like I just don't know what he capable of, and I just want to stay away from him, and at that as a young woman trying to raise kids and trying to have some of her own, you gotta respect that.
So when you getting to be a senior, let me back up a little bit though. Like as you getting older in high school, because you said you're getting a good education despite not having those siblings in the high school with you. Like, do you know your plans, or you just kind of going through high school? Do you got plans for yourself outside of school? Like, you know what you want to do at least?
Yeah, I know I'm smart enough to do anything. Like I had nurturing teachers that took likings to me because they're like, oh my God, like I was in advanced classes in middle school. So I actually took algebra 1 and English 1 in middle school. So when I got to high school, I was advanced in credits.
Mm-hmm.
So by the time I got to a senior, I was so heavy in my music. I was so heavy in what we had going on, longevity and stuff, like how we was moving. I had already knew. I really didn't have no backup plan. I just knew that I was gonna do music. It got real to me when I graduated and got back from senior week. I got back from the beach. Dad had got me. Our dad had got me car. He got me like 2 bottles of liquor. He gave me some money, gave me a car, gave me some beer. We went to senior week. When I came, it was real to me because he was like, all right, so what you gonna do? Because you're not staying here if you ain't
And that's
working.
people don't understand. When I talk to girls up north, they don't understand. That's a real thing in the South. Like when you graduate, what's up? Like, you know, and they think that's so, they're like, what? Yeah, they need the parents to be asking you, what do you feel like there's pressure on kids though when you, because you come home.
Right. That ain't right. You give, because I think he had already been through.
It's not just him though. It seems like it's like just the norm.
It's not just him, but I know it was just him that came to me because of what he dealt with our older sister.
Right.
So he gave her a few dollars and cut a few checks, and she didn't go to school. So he like, I'm not giving you. If you're going to school, you're gonna pay for it. If you're gonna get a job, blase, blase. So it was like he was looking at me like, oh, she already done messed that up for you. Well, that ain't even me and my, you know what I'm saying? Like if I decide to go to school, because which was right, he thought that I really didn't have a plan, which was smart because he didn't want to invest in going to no college or nothing, because you don't even know what you want. So the first thing he did was, when I got out of high school, is where he gave me a job with him. So that wasn't my first job, because like I said, he wasn't buying me in high school and shit. He wasn't buying me no school clothes and stuff. So I had the previous year, I was at a manufacturing place in Greenwood, which was called Eaton. And I got that job as soon as I turned 17 or 18.
How was that? Working there?
I went on my birthday. I went on July 10th. I had been going up there before. They was like, we can't hire you because you're 16 or something. We can't hire you right now. I remember the day I turned 17, I want to say. I went to the staffing company and I was like, I'm old enough today. And they were so intrigued by that. They was like, oh my God, like you've been up here a lot. We're going to give you a job today because I'm like, man, to be honest, hustling wasn't working for me because everybody around me hustled. And like I said earlier, we in a rural country. So that was peanuts to me. Previously to that, like 10th, 11th grade, I was selling my own CDs. I was buying shoes and clothes off of that. You know, when you start sniffing yourself and you start becoming a man, I'm like, man, I want to take girls on dates. I want to spend me some money. I want to, you know what I'm saying? So, our daddy had cars and stuff. So, I had to put gas in it. So I was ready to get a job. I was ready to make a couple $100 a week. And then,
but when you graduated, do you feel like not going to college was because you didn't have a verbal plan to say to somebody what you wanted to do?
Yeah, I feel like, yep. I feel like that. And I wasn't prepared. Like I had teachers and stuff trying to teach me how to do FAFSA and stuff like that. But I mean, I wasn't prepared. I had like 3 schools that would have accepted me. I took the easiest test. I didn't take. My teacher was mad. I had a math teacher named Mrs. I think I want to say her name was Mrs. Castle. She was mad at me because I just didn't apply myself. I took the easiest, I think the ACT instead of the SAT. She wanted me to. And I even had a girl that was dating. I was dating that. She took the SAT. She was mad at me because why? I'm like, man, because I ain't going to school. Like I'm gonna do the easiest thing it is. I scored good on the ACT. I got accepted in like 2 or 3 schools, and I just didn't think I was going to no school. So I was like, man, I'm gonna do my music. I'm gonna run around and still sell CDs out my little, and I can make $200-300 a week doing that, which I could, but you can't live off of that when you're running around, get a vehicle, and you want to move out.
Yeah, but it's crazy our race makes us feel like we gotta have a plan, and other races say, just go and you can find out why you're there. So we didn't know that. We didn't know that. I remember when I was working in college and I was working at a hotel, and I just thought the white boy was so smart. And you know, he had to fail. He was in school, he had failed twice. And I was like, your mama ain't married? He said, no. He was like, my mama, you know, she tell me to keep going till I, you know, our mamas would have made us get out.
Yeah.
But he said, no. He said his mama told him, you know, just keep going. It's never too late. And I'm just looking like, what? And that's true. Because nobody care when you got your degree. They don't care how long it took you. They don't care if you was in there 8 years. So
we
yeah,
don't have,
that's reality.
we don't have that grace period. You know, though that's something we know we got to change. We got to set our babies up and move forward, because it ain't all of, you know, African American. It ain't all black people that do that.
It's
more
it's not.
That you gotta really grind, and then it's like everybody clap for you. But it's like, look what y'all put me through.
Right.
Like, I almost don't want your applause, because nobody helped me. So I don't really care if you happy for me, because you was able to help me and you did not help me. But you know how that is.
I want to ask though, around that high school, because I always like to touch on, I know that most of everybody I talk to is married or in a relationship. Was it anybody that you consider that somebody that you were in love with when you were in high school, or maybe like a first love, or somebody like that you encountered when you were in high school?
To be honest, no. I mean, I had a girlfriend, but as I'm older now and as I'm a man now, I know it wasn't love. You know
but
what I'm
back
saying?
then, did you feel like it was?
No, I felt like I took advantage of her liking me or loving me. I don't know if I took advantage of a lot of women that I thought if they like me and love me, then you know, I get what I can get out of that person. You know what I'm saying? Like I love, to me, I didn't really see that till later on in life.
Well, growing up, how you grew up, how did you know what love looked like? How did you know whenever you can identify it for yourself? Who taught you, like, this is what it feels like, this is what it looked like if you grew up the way you grew up?
Yeah, I kind of looked at my older aunts and uncles that stay together, like my one relationship, my Aunt Mary and my Uncle Will relationship. I looked at how much patience they had with each other. I looked at how, even if they was mad at each other, they still had conversations. They still had to be logical with each other. They still dealt with each other. But if each of them needed space, he would go outside, work on something, go do his thing. They worked 2 different shifts. So I kind of looked at that, but I didn't give my love to later, like, because I was, and I probably messed up a few things with females and stuff in my past, like coming straight out, because I was a kid. So, you know what I'm saying? I probably messed up a lot of things that could have been when it comes to previous things, just off I was raised. So because I really didn't know. As I got older and grew into becoming a man, then I realized, like, damn, it really takes a little bit of me just paying attention to this woman to see what sacrifice she makes, or nurturing that she's doing for me, to measure that if the love is there.
So when you got out of high school and did say you can come work for me, describe the type of plant he worked at. Well, we call them plants, but of course, manufacturing companies.
Yeah. It was very like a plantational plant. It was a cotton mill. Like, I was hauling cotton cans. I was getting paid like $7.50. Like, so it was peanuts. It was nothing. You worked 12 hours. You were there from 7 to one of the weeks you there from 7 to 7 at night. The next week you there from 7 to 7 and getting off in the evening time. So it was one of those. The job was so bad that I enrolled in school. That's the only reason. Hell no, ain't no way in the hell I'm about to do this. So that's
they need to make kids who lazy don't want to do that. I remember when my mama was doing this lady hair, she said, I don't know why your baby up in there. My mama was like, up in where? And so I called you and you was like, yeah. I was like, you remember I cracked the joke? I was like, you like a little kindergarten with your lunch and lunch. Because all I can see is like these people that have been working here like 20, 30. You had to be the youngest one working there.
I was the younger one working there. I was like 17, 18 years old. I was hauling them cans. I was like the best worker. I used to have to cut.
No, that's like 40 and 50.
I worked so fast, but my dad was so proud because he like, boy, this boy here slanging these cans. I think the quota is to get like 20 cans off of each aisle. I was getting like 35 cans. I was making fun with it. But it was an old man that stopped me. He asked for a ride. He stayed down below Willamette. He passed away now. I used to give him a ride to McCormick every morning. We used to leave Edgefield. He out buy me breakfast and buy me 2 double deuces at the store. And we'll drink a couple beers. I used to drop him off every morning or every evening. But he told me, he said, hey man, you 18 years old. You better get the hell up out of here. Before he got out of the car, he was kind of like buzzed, but the look in his eyes, he looked at me. You better get the hell up out of here. And I looked at him, and I worked there for so if I graduated in, I want to say, when is graduation? June, maybe?
May or June, yeah.
When September got there, I was done. I had saved up like $3,000. I was done. Like, I quit and I enrolled in Piedmont Technical. Yeah.
But what was your thoughts when you was working there though? Did you think that was okay? I mean, you was making money?
No, I ain't think it was okay because I was like falling into, I can feel myself falling into that traditional thing. Because all of our uncles worked in cotton mills, like I felt that shit too. Like I felt that. I said, man, you falling right in under, which is nothing wrong. My dad is a hard worker. I never grateful for everything he done for me. Man, working man. I knew more. I knew I could do more. I knew I could flourish when it comes to like just numbers and talent and just knowing people. Like I know I was more, so I had to hurry up and challenge myself to do something else. I didn't want to settle.
Yeah, so you didn't even have the mentality of, well, I'm getting money, so it's all right. You wanted to get out.
No, it was. I think I saved $3,000. I think I saved like $3,000 or $4,000 by the time I left there because I was staying with Dad. I ain't had no bills and that. So, and I remember one time they was picking at me at a cookout. We had a cookout at the house. They said, "Man, Chris," I'm like, "I'm about to quit." I'm like, Chris crazy. Chris about to quit. He ain't got no man. You ain't got no money. And then I went back in my room. I had my little knot saved up in the jury box that jury box is like you open. I took my little knot, brought it back out. I was like, I'm quitting, but I got a little knot. Like I'm bragging a little bit, but after that, that's when I enrolled in school because I'm like, man, it's something. I gotta try something else because I can't. I can't stay here making no $7, man. I think one of my checks a week was like $250, and the big one, $330. Like, I got out of here, man.
So when you enrolled in school, did you have a plan at that point, or was the plan just to get the hell out?
Out of there.
So how was that experience? Because you went to a technical school, but it had a campus, or did it not have a campus at that point? Because they got a campus now. I don't think it had one
Yeah,
then, though.
at that point. And I only went there for like 6 months and got a job. And then, yeah, I went there for like 6 months. So I went there and majored in business management. And then I got another job in Greenwood, making a little more money, making like $12, $13 an hour.
So did
But
you not think school was for you? Why do you feel like you left?
yeah, I felt like that school went for me. It was small.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like I'm like redoing the shit I did in high school, which everybody tell me that's what you do your first year of college. You just
Mm-hmm.
back over. And I'm like, man, this shit's so easy. I'm wasting time up there, and I'm wasting money. I own money for books and a lot of the stuff. Like I was spending my own money. Like I didn't get like student loans until went to Greenville Tech, and our mama taught because she was going to Greenville Tech. She taught me how to get a student loan, and like you ain't got to pay for this out your pocket. So
And got that refund check and said, I
yeah,
won't.
yeah, I did. I bounced
But
on that.
no, but technical, I was enrolled in a technical school up here, and I think I probably went like a month, and I was like, nah, I'm going to a 4 year. It's different. That technical environment, it ain't the same. So
No,
I get what you're saying.
it's too much accountability. It's too
Yeah, it's not the same.
they're like you need to hold yourself accountable. You need to make sure that you don't have the well, I ain't gonna say that about Greenville Tech, but Piedmont Tech, they don't have people to help you. They don't have people to encourage you.
Yeah.
They had teachers on TV. And I'm like, but I seen this girl that I went to school with. Her name, she was in one of them classes, and now she she got done, and
Mm-hmm.
and she was looking at me like kind of smirking, cause she was looking at me like, oh yeah, this nigga about to quit, cause I was looking. Staying here doing this math shit that we did in 11th grade, I'm about to get the fuck up out of here. And the teacher, yeah, I'm like, bro, I ain't even nobody in here. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna be here long because
Yeah.
I already had one foot in the street. Like I already know how to get some money. Like I already know how to like separate my partners from the people I know that's really money, where I can middleman it and be like, all right, if you're looking for this, give me this amount of, I'm gonna take it over here, and my cousin gonna cut me a deal where I'm gonna make $120, $200. I was doing that for the longest.
Mm-hmm.
People think, all right, man, he out here busting moves. You got to know, I'm just literally getting out the car with some money. I'm putting some money in my pocket, and I'm going ahead and buying something, and then walking out and giving what you want, and just keeping
But
you, you know what I'm saying, the conversation.
yeah. But around this time, you got a little car. You leaving that school, but you got another job locked down. But what is your relationship looking like with your parents? Because at this point, you damn near grown.
Yeah, my relationship, I think, with my mama got stronger. My relationship with my daddy was weaker because I was coming in all times of the night, and I had quit the job he got me. So in some ways, I kind of made him look bad, but I think his management understood it. They was proud of me. I told him I was going back to school, but like, and which I understand now. Like I was a, a a young man, so I'm coming in my dad's house. He got a wife. I'm coming in there 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, clubbing and smoking and drinking up his beer, eating his food. Like I understand it now, but he's like, man, you're not about to be coming. So I stayed at my mama's house more. Like wherever y'all was at, I was staying a little bit more with y'all on weekends and stuff like that, or I come during the week if I'm working in Greenwood, and because our relationship, like she'll cook my. It felt good having a mama. Even I stayed in Greenwood like right after. I think that was right after I quit Piedmont Tech. I got an apartment and got that little job in Greenwood, and mom used to come up there and buy me groceries and do my wash my clothes. So it felt good. My relationship back with my mom, I kind of, you know, a little distance from my daddy, but he always been there and helping me and stuff like that. Yeah, he took me to get my car. You know, he showed me, he always told me this stand-up guy, man, owe these folk, pay these folk. Don't hide from them if you ain't got it. Call these folk, tell them you ain't got it. You know what I'm saying? He instilled stuff today. But at that time, I was trying to get my relationship with my mama back. Like, I was being around her a little more.
Right. Now, you are definitely connected to the music. Like, everybody know you locally, and a lot of people that you don't even know that know you know your lyrics. So when did you know that? Because sometimes you can say, I always hear it with like Beyonce, some of the greats, like people knew she had it. She didn't know she had it yet. So when did you know that you had it? Or did somebody have to tell you like, man, you could rap?
Yeah, Locke, my cousin Locke told me I had it. Like when he stamped me out, you know what I'm saying? He told me, he was like, man, you like that. Like he put me in the box with them, like with the big boys. So then when we started shows and stuff like that, and then when the older guys start looking at me as their equal competition on a rapping level, then I know I had it. If I'm 15 rapping with 25-year-olds and I'm doing, I'm right beside somebody, a grown man rapping, and we in the studio and he asking me about this line and stuff like that. I was like, yeah, I know I understood what people wanted to hear. I understood how to make it on, and plus I love music so much, and I wasn't afraid to show my vulnerability as far as making music. Like I can do a girl song, I can talk about heartache and stuff like that. But I think like later I realized what really takes you to the next level is talking about your own heartache, talking about your own traumas and your struggles, and people that'll draw people to you as well.
They dreaming about that pussy during lunchtime, sucking on that thing like some muscadines. Even though she caught me in some bullshit.